With the recent passing of the great Robert Redford, I decided I wanted to talk about one of his most famous characters, Jeremiah Johnson, and who the true historical figure was behind the film. The name of the real Jeremiah Johnson was John Johnson, and he was born in 1824, most likely in New Jersey. Like many young men of the 19th century, he sought opportunity in the West. He worked as a sailor for a time before enlisting in the U.S. Navy, but Johnson was restless, drawn to the call of the frontier. By the 1840s, he headed westward into the untamed lands of the Rocky Mountains, a place where survival depended on skill, toughness, and a willingness to confront danger at every turn. Johnson became a mountain man, part trapper, part hunter, and part survivalist. These men were some of the earliest non-native inhabitants of the Rockies, living by their rifles and trading pelts for supplies. But life in the wilderness was never peaceful. The fur trade brought frequent clashes with native tribes. Johnson, like many mountain men, found himself both trading with and fighting against Native Americans. According to frontier legend, Johnson married a Flathead woman around the 1840s, and together they had a child. The story goes that while Johnson was away hunting, a Crow war party raided his cabin and killed his wife and child. Heartbroken and enraged, Johnson swore vengeance. He is said to have declared war against the entire Crow nation, one man against thousands. For nearly 20 years, Johnson roamed the Rockies, hunting Crow warriors. He ambushed them in canyons, struck during their hunts, and slipped away into the wilderness before they could retaliate. And there's this grisly detail that made his name infamous. Supposedly, after killing a Crow warrior, Johnson cut open the body and removed the liver. Some say he ate it raw, others that he cooked it over his fire. This act, whether real or exaggerated, was not random. In many cultures, the liver was considered the seat of courage. By consuming it, Johnson struck psychological terror into his enemies. It was this habit that earned him his chilling nickname, Liver-Eating Johnson. But how much of this is true? There is no reliable record confirming Johnson killed dozens, let alone hundreds, of Crow. Most accounts come from later storytellers, long after Johnson's prime. Some historians suggest Johnson may have spread the liver-eating story himself, using it as a form of psychological warfare. In a world where reputation could be as deadly as a rifle, the myth may have been his most powerful weapon. The story continues that the Crow pursued Johnson for decades, sending war parties after him, but they never succeeded. Johnson, tall, broad-shouldered, and armed with a Hawken rifle and bowie knife, was always ready. One tale tells of Johnson being ambushed by a group of warriors. Outnumbered and cut off, he fought his way free, leaving bodies in the snow. Another story claims he was captured and tied up, only to gnaw through the leather that held him and kill his guard before escaping. Whether fact or fiction, these stories painted Johnson as unstoppable, a nightmare figure for the Crow. By the 1860s, Johnson's war with the Crow seemed to have cooled down. He even lived near Crow lands in Montana and was reported to have traded peacefully with them. During the Civil War, he served as a scout for the Union Army. Later, he worked as a lawman in Montana, a town marshal, and a deputy sheriff. Far from the lone hermit portrayed by Hollywood, Johnson lived among people, enforcing order on a frontier that was rapidly changing. In his old age, Johnson left the frontier. He lived his final years at a veterans home in Los Angeles, where he died in 1900. His grave was later moved to Cody, Wyoming, at the edge of the wilderness that defined him. The real Jeremiah Johnson was John Johnson, a sailor, trapper, scout, lawman, and soldier. Parts of his feud with the Crow may have been exaggerated, but in the telling, it became legend. Like the Rockies he once roamed, his story stands tall, casting long shadows across the history and folklore of the American West.